Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Code with Italian's Christmas edition, I guess. You can take it out at any time, although if you start like sweating visibly, then we know why. So today is the last stream before the end of the year, because we are going on vacation, and you should also go on vacation if you can. I strongly recommend vacation. It's a great idea. Yeah. And today, to end this year in glory, they can only hear me. Of course. Okay, now they can hear you as well. Even say something.
Something. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Something.
Okay, perfect. They can hear you now.
Okay.
What would be an episode of Code with Italians without some microphones not working?
I mean, we have been doing this only like over 100 times, so you know.
Apparently, it takes more than that to learn.
Yeah, we are warming up
It's technology. It's ever changing, right? It's
no. You know what we need? We need AI to help us fix this.
We need AI. We need robots.
We should hook up the stream to one of those fancy Gemini 2.0 APIs and just tell us, like, generate comments and post them on the chat, so people don't need to tell us anymore. And the next step is an OBS plugin that fixes shit by itself.
I mean, that's a business idea right there. I probably we will get probably millions from Y Combinator for something like that.
Probably billions if we say billions. AI enough times.
That's a multiplier. Anyway, I was saying,
We are here, and this is the last stream of the year. And to end the year in glory, we have our friend Tomáš here with us. Hey, Tomáš, welcome.
Hey everyone. Hey.
And you're here because you are going to tell us how Compose Performance works in a way that actually doesn't leave me and even look like, you know, a modem from the 90s that is trying to connect.
Didn't. Because I don't even know that. No, I'm joking. Yeah. I will try to show it from like the app perspective, and like try. I'll be as practical as I can if that's possible.
We love practical.
Yeah, I had a joke with that prepared that I would say that I'm Tomáš and I work on KMP and this is going to be about KMP, but then you told it differently. But yeah,
I'm sorry I ruined your joke.
Yeah, you ruined my joke, but that's whatever.
That's what I do. I ruin everything I touch.
Come on, shut up.
Okay.
No, but this is the reality of us not scripting anything.
Yeah,
that's the thing. we spoil things.
We are not very good at preparing.
I mean, who needs that?
So I think before you go on the last even thing of the year, maybe Tomáš, do we want to do a redo? Do you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do and why it's KMP?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm Tomáš, a DevRel working at Google on KMP. So this is going to be, I switched to KMP a week ago. So that's one thing. But this is going to be a Compose Performance, as I worked on that before and still am. And yeah, what else do people say here?
I think that's enough. I mean,
you
can say whatever you want, basically, but you don't.
I'll probably
be
talking the rest of the talk.
I don't know, shoe size. That's up to you.
No. That's data mining. We don't do that. Then we need to remove the information from the stream because of GDPR. So don't. Please, let's keep it simple. So, Tomáš, welcome, and Sebastiano, I can finish the year with the usual thanks for the supporters. We are very happy. This is another year that is wrapping up with probably 40 episodes, 45 episodes.
I don't even know. Do I want to count?
Nah, I mean, but it's great. Thank you for the support. Again, you saw it in the chat. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can connect your Amazon account to your Twitch gaming account, and you will see in the app and on the website that you can subscribe for free using Prime to one channel every month. You can pick us. Thank you if you support us.
You should pick us.
Yes, but there are also other streamers.
Yeah, but we are funnier.
We are more Italians. That's the bibbidi boobidi. For the bibbidi boobidi part, we print and we make keychains and the pins and the stickers that you can find when we go around at conferences. So this is made possible thanks to you. We also have a merch website where you can get the designs, for instance, of this meeting could have been an email. Stickers that we have, you can buy it on everything that you want, basically from mugs to t-shirts. And we get a couple of bucks for every product that we sell, and we buy stickers with that. So it's a never-ending stream of stickers and gadgets coming to you at conferences. Thank you for the support. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so
let's go.
Where do we start from?
That was it. And okay, all right.
Oh yeah, we're done. We're so performant. We're already done.
It was great to have you.
We optimized an hour and a half of stream down to 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes with the pre-roll.
Yeah.
So, Okay. Jokes aside, I will take the Jetcaster, which is one of the compose samples, and I'll look at it. Well, if there's any performance problem that I, planted. No, I haven't actually, and and I actually haven't. And I'll try to, go through a process to actually figure out what's wrong and how we kind of think that it's good to think about a performance, not just go and start, doing a bunch of things without, understanding what's going on.
What you're saying
yeah.
you shouldn't optimize based on gut feeling?
What is it? YOLO driven, or no? That would be gut feeling driven development.
We need a variant of our YOLO driven development stickers. It's like gut feeling driven performance.
Yeah. No, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah. No, but like in general, that's a good thing. But like for performance, it's good to do it like kind of scientifically. Try to measure something in advance. Go play around, tweak stuff, and then measure it again to ideally see better numbers, or maybe worse, because that's what happens with what did you say? Measuring is hard. The other day? Yeah. Measuring is hard, but like hopefully we will be removing work, which means that it should, even if the numbers would say, it's worse, then we removed the work, so it can't be worse by definition of removal.
Yeah. And
so yeah,
on the measuring is hard part, I think. Like this came up because a few weeks ago there was an article from someone on, was it coin versus Hilt, I think, and it had a lot of numbers, a lot of measurements. It's not about coin even. Don't worry, it's not about Hilt versus
but I
coin.
remember
it's just that the article
yes.
They had a lot of measurements and a lot of information. But then when someone, I think it was PY, started looking into it, and PY is very, very, very into performance measurement. He started picking it apart, saying, oh, this measurement actually doesn't make sense because it's not particularly useful. And like it was for me that I'm not a performance expert. It was extremely interesting because it showed that there were problems, like there are problems that I didn't see necessarily in the data when I was looking at it, that were in terms of method, in terms of like measurement units, in terms of like even stuff that I wouldn't have thought about, like, oh, have you warmed up the CPU? Are you locking the frequency? Sorry, English is difficult at this time of the day. Like all of those things were just adding on, and I was like, oh shit, I hadn't thought about any of this. So yeah, I'm very happy to have this episode now because I'm sure Tomáš will explain every single of those things.
Hopefully. No, yeah.
Yeah, you have an hour 13 minutes, by the way.
Yeah. Should I get started? Where do I start? No. Yes, that's true. And if I remember, I think they were just like measuring in code, but for like somehow more statistically significant, we recommend Microbenchmark because it's great. It's out of the project, so outside of the process, so it doesn't really tackle anything within the app. And it's even interesting that you can use it even on like the production app. Like you if the production app is profilable, just you can write the benchmarks even not being within the same project, which is just sometimes interesting to get some data out of the apps. But yeah, like in here, I will do something that you shouldn't, that I'll be just doing like one iteration because, time, we don't want to spend, 10 minutes on the benchmarks being running. But in general, yeah, I think with Microbenchmark, it's good to have it more stable to get some data. Maybe, we should get started if, hour 15.
Should I show your screen?
Show my screen, please.
The screen has been shown.
the screen has been exposed. Okay. I have, all right. So this is the app, the Jetcaster app. Some podcasts, some stuff that, it looks fine-ish for now. Like this is debug, nothing serious. So what, as I was saying, like, gut feeling, performance improvements, what we've seen kind of people do is like, okay, layout inspector, right? Layout inspector has the information on, recomposition count, and that, it might be tempting to just go here, waiting. IDE error occurred, of course.
That's normal.
That's an unknown error happened. Great.
It will tell you more if you click the link, but
Which link? Oh, yeah, I mean, let's try
now
again.
it's gone.
It's gone. Attach success. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Woohoo!
We're making the game.
First time.
So it's like, we've stood up. It might be tempting to just go and, click and then, whoa, everything recomposed. And now I'm like, okay, let's start jumping and, fixing these recompositions because, recomposition is bad.
Yeah.
But we're saying that's where we're trying to really say that try to measure it because hundreds of recompositions might be still better than one super long composition, and therefore although I'm gonna be I want to fix these, but I want to do it somehow in controlled and measured manner. So first, before that, I will write a benchmark. I'm sure that if I add a benchmark module. So this is the Microbenchmark module, and can just do the defaults.
Are you doing micro or macro?
Macro. So
Macro.
for macro benchmark. So for Compose, micro benchmark is not available because Compose has a slightly different, the phases, the composition, layout, draw. It would be actually interesting, maybe to do. Can we do polls? Like, to do a poll, how many people would use micro benchmark? Because
I mean, sure.
We use it internally in AndroidX, and
and you're keeping it from us?
Yes, we want to. That's we're like thinking about how useful it is, or how if people still have trouble with macro benchmark, adding another tool is a good idea. I mean, it probably is a good idea, but yeah, like the return of investment, I guess that would be the good name to figure out how much people would like that. So
I can run it. Just tell me what the question should be and what the answers should be.
Okay, all right. Would you use micro benchmarks for Compose to measure composables directly? Let's call it like in opposition, like macro benchmark measures it from the outside perspective, like the whole app, the frames or the startup time. And with micro, you can measure the code directly. All right. Okay, so I have a benchmark, and I'm gonna butcher it a bit, or I can. All right, I'll actually let me start. So that's what I say. Iteration 1. Don't do that, but we will, because time, and I'll run it and see if I get some data from this. So macro benchmark template changes a couple of things. In the module, it does the benchmark build type. I think I already had this here, so just briefly until it builds. And it makes the app profilable, but it builds like a release version of the app, so that is not debuggable, because debug Compose is unbundled, and in debug it's super slow because it can't leverage it basically uses just the just-in-time compiler and interpreter mode. It can't leverage baseline profiles and stuff like that. So measuring performance in debug is not a good idea. That's why release, and that's why benchmark. Something failed. Of course it did. I don't know. I'm gonna wait for.
Oh, it's still doing stuff. You can ignore it.
I think I saw that before because I was trying it, and I think I know it's just because it adds it before the release.
Yeah.
That's why it can't find the signing config. I don't know. I think that's going to be the case.
That sounds like a problem.
we'll see until that's done. Yeah, what is? Oh no, something different. Okay, compile. Ah, man, I think that's that, right? Is it the build to change? I expected it.
Can you run it? I think maybe it might have failed because the change you just did. So maybe running it again.
Different thing. I think it doesn't work.
Also, people are asking if you can zoom in a bit more because it's really small. 200.
200.
Yes.
200. Yeah.
How about
dude? You're young and your eyes are still good, but
I mean, it's incredibly big now. Okay.
It's how big is your screen? Is my question.
I don't know. Is it 2K, no, or like 2.5K? I don't know, something like that. Is it 4K? I don't know.
It's at least 4K because I see it tiny.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So is it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Let's have the benchmark. So I'm starting it, and so before you already had Perfetto, I think, in the Code with Italians.
Yes.
But so I'll show it, but I'll basically show you that there's nothing, and we can, for compose, you can enhance that with things to actually have more stuff there. So because the build is obviously incredibly slow now, I will actually go ahead and talk about it. So if I would open the trace now, I would basically see, that there'll be some compose recomposition phase, maybe layout phase, maybe a little bit of something. But maybe I'll do also, I already have done script. But that will be it. But for compose to have more information, we have actually composition tracing or runtime tracing, which I don't know. Andre, this is interesting. Compose runtime tracing. Oh yeah, it's now part of the BOM. And it failed again. The device SDK isn't supported. Of course it isn't. Okay, I'll skip the not showing. I think I saw that somewhere in the past. Profile installer.
You're missing an N in Android.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Was it maybe profile installer? Okay, yeah, the latest version is should be. So this should now hopefully work. So I'll skip with tracing not being visible at all, and so we need to add the runtime tracing, which enables composition tracing that then traces basically every single composable when it composes. So this is kind of like between a method trace, which gives trace of every single method, but for this is just the composables. But with that we can actually see what's going on and how much things take time. Otherwise we would be kind of running blindly, and we would see junked frames, but that's about it. So runtime tracing, minify benchmark with R8, and then I'll be preparing stuff, in advance until it builds. Then, so this is startup. I will not be interested that much in startup because I wanted to, as I was showing before, I wanted to benchmark the clicks. Basically, when I clicked on something, it recomposed, the whole screen, and I would like to replicate that. So instead of startup timing metric, I'll be using frame timing metric, which basically measures how long it takes to render frames. And here I will. Okay, what will I need to do? I will need to. So I'll go to my code on home. Oh yeah, now the benchmark was running. Okay, I'll be a bit chaotic, so I'll go back to the trace.
By the way, the poll has finished, and 3 out of 3 voters said that they would do macro benchmarkings.
Okay, all right, good. All right, so I have the benchmarks, and I can just open it in Perfetto, which opens obviously in wrong Chrome tab. from window. But I have, so the traces are in the build folder here. So this is pulled from the device. So I can just take this and drop it into Perfetto. I guess this is not sufficient as well. So I'll do 250. How about now?
Yes, that is now readable.
Yeah, so I hope someone already saw Perfetto, otherwise this might be super crazy, but don't worry.
Look at the pretty colors.
Pretty colors everywhere, yeah. But you're mostly, when we're doing this kind of thing, interested in your process, which is Jetcaster, and then we have the list of threads here, and here we can see the frames that were expected and the actual. So in our case, the first frame, this is startup, took 92 milliseconds, which for first frame, I mean, not terrible, but could be
not great.
Better. Yeah, not great. And I actually don't have anything here because
are you running on 120 or 60 FPS?
I think I have it locked on 60 for my device for stability.
So for reference, that should be 16 milliseconds or less, ideally.
Yeah. 1060, yeah, 16.6. That's that. Actually, I don't still see anything here, which is good because I forgot something, and that is when I add the runtime tracing. This works automatically when you run the system tracing from the Studio Profiler. But if you want to enable it from benchmarks, you either need to add it into this or into I need to add instrumentation argument. We can do that from the runtime configuration, or what's it called, which is Android X benchmark full tracing enable. It's a bit marvel. True. I hope that I spelled it right. And now if I run it, I could also add it to the here into the, which I'll do as well in the meantime.
Just in case, or
just in no, like, because if I would have a different benchmark, so this is just for the one run configuration.
Oh, I see.
So yeah. Startup. So I'll be, if I didn't do that, I would probably, like, in a minute when I write the other benchmark, I'll be like, why don't I see anything? So
it sounds like you've done this mistake in the past. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. For me, it seems that it takes more time to set it up properly than to actually do the stuff. So I don't know. And when I open this,
story of my life.
So I have the benchmark here again. Okay, I'll find the process, and now, bam. Okay. So now we see.
Now it says things.
It says things, exactly. For compose, recompose, this is these are the phases that are populated by compose itself, and this all below this is basically the runtime tracing or compose tracing. And sorry, I have a little bit of cold, so sorry, I'll sometimes just need to wipe my nose. And so I wanted to, before actually jumping there, I wanted to explain a bit how for compose it works, because it might not be super obvious that everything is below. So in general, the traces work the everything that's below a trace contributes to the upper trace. So if I have the main activity here, so that time, which is 19 milliseconds, everything below that main activity is what was running. If there are some gaps, like here, this is just untraced code, so we just don't have enough information. So if I would say look at mine activity, there'll be calculate display features, Jetcaster theme, navhost, animated content, which is part of navhost. I have my Jetcaster up, some view model, and then main screen, home screen ready, blah blah, some stuff up till a point where I see some home screen lambda, and then I have scaffold, and then it ends. But there's where's the rest of the app, right? You can think. So that's what I wanted to show, that whenever there's a subcompose layout in tracing, it would be split into a different composition. So scaffold by default uses the not by default, but it uses the subcompose layout. So if I want to see the content of that scaffold, I actually need to zoom back and look for another compose recompose, which is here, which is the subcomposition. So here, if I would check, I would see, okay, this is the home up bar, which is the one.
I think maybe it's worth expanding on what subcomposition means a second, because I don't know how many people are familiar.
Okay. All right. So in general, compose has the
asking
three
for a
phases,
friend.
Right? Yeah.
Sure.
Compose has 3 phases, which is
I'm the friend,
composition phase. It's fine. It's I'm answering for past myself. It's composition, layout, and draw. But that's for every composable. But for subcompose layout, which is usually used for like lazy lists or lazy grid, this is where a composition can based on one composable, you can define whether to compose another composable or not, which is used in lists, right? We compose 10 items and not the rest. But so in scaffold, it is used because of all the insets, bottom and top bar stay based on whether you have the top bar, that amount of space will be only available for the main content, or based on the bottom bar. So based on subcompose, you can compose part of the screen, and then you can you have the width and height, and based on that you can decide, hey, do I want to compose this UI or this UI, or do I want to compose another item in layout, or
to make Roberto happy.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we see. All right. So this is like one important bit, that when there's a subcomposition, it would be shown as recompose later. So this is home up bar, and I think somewhere else. Oh, it's actually clipped. So not really, because I didn't wait for the data to load. Okay, doesn't matter. All right. So that was that, and then that would be. We'll see it. I'll explain it a bit later. Okay, so now I want to write a benchmark that would just click, some item on screen. And, to do that, I can use a test tag for, I don't know the app, and I just want to use a, like test tag to be sure, like I'm clicking the right item or something. So for that, I can do just not first a modifier semantics. Does what? No, I want to import this. Enable test. What is test tag as resource ID? True. Of course, it's experimental, but in 1.8 it's stable already.
Okay. Never seen this.
Okay, yeah, because you written a benchmark?
No, but I have used semantics in my life.
We do tests, so every now and then. I was expecting tag.
Yeah. So that's it's just okay. I'll go a bit further. So I have, maybe I can in the meantime just build mobile. I want to, in a buttons, I have a podcast button that I want to click. And so I can add the test tag here, which is the same, doesn't matter. But this works by default just for compose tests, or maybe for espresso. But because Microbenchmark is like out of the app process, it doesn't know.
Okay.
And so in Microbenchmark, if you want to access something, so this is the benchmark, I would go device, find object by, and now I could use, text or stuff plus this content description, or I could use the res, which has 2 variants. One is with resource package, which then translated to the Android views. When we had defined ID, that translated that. But if I just do without anything, this translates to the test tag. but I need to have, in order for that to work, I need to just add
Oh, I
something
see.
here.
I see. So that's
I
just
bet,
saying take the test tag and make it available as a, is that UI automator
Yes, that's UI
thing?
automator.
Okay.
Yeah. And the button is basically this plus. That's
Okay.
the button that I wanna click. Okay, so now I find something. Let's do it twice maybe. Let's just click 2 buttons for fun. Find objects for buttons, and then buttons, it, click, and I'll wait a bit. Thread sleep always works, right? I mean, I could wait for some UI to change, but this is for now. It's to be fast.
Yeah.
And here I need to, because it loads data from network, I will wait for sometimes, hopefully for some time. Okay, let's try to run this benchmark now. So what it does, it'll start the default activity. It will wait until the data loads. You can use instead, ideally I would use the base wait until has object. Oh, AI magically just knew what I meant. Gemini. And I would do something like this, which maybe I can just keep. And then, I'll click the first button and the second button.
Okay.
And, during this, it'll take the traces.
Right, because there's more than one button, because they're the same component used in multiple items.
Exactly. And from there, we'll see that, how many times something recomposed. And we'll see that what takes how much time, basically. Because otherwise, if I was doing it, from just the layout inspector, I was like, okay, I see it recomposes super many times, but I mean, like, is it a problem? Am I, junking the screen? I don't know. I have no idea. So this way, I will exactly know how long it took and whether it might be a problematic or not. So hopefully this will click the button. It waits. Oh yeah, it clicked something. Great, awesome. So yeah, it clicked the first and then the second. And it will spit out also the metrics that for one iteration will be probably super meaningless. But ideally, if I had 10 iterations and then I would go and fix stuff, then this should improve. But here, maybe that won't be the case. All right, I'll have Perfetto go here. No. And then my process again. And so I am here. Okay, but super big. So this is okay. So this is the app start. Here is, how do I know if I clicked it? Okay, I actually figured out today that I can check or not today, but in general, I can find so this is the macro benchmark process. These are the benchmarks, and I could check for what's going on here. So I have measure block, start activity, and wait, and here I have wait for idle. This is the find matches. So this is where I was finding the buttons. Should be the first one and second one. So I'll just maybe add a little flag for me so I know. Yep, here and here. Okay, and then, okay, I have the flags. I just can go back into Jetcaster. Where's the flag? So yes, so this was, the click was here and it was a bit probably, delayed. So we're talking about, what is it, like 500 milliseconds. So, when the macro benchmark, showed it. So this is basically the recomposition that happened because of that click. And so now I'm like, okay, what can I see here? So I clicked and, stuff recomposed on the screen. And now I'm asking, like, what is recomposing and why? And so first of all, I see main screen is recomposing. I would be like, why? What's the reason for that? But if I check the main screen composable, this is the composable, the reason why it recomposed is that, I have the view model and actually the UI stat is red here. So recomposition happens when, in composition, in your composable, something reads a state. I actually have a tip for you today. There's in Android Studio.
I was just gonna say that.
in Android Studio. I don't know what version, and I don't know if it's
It's been there for a while.
Okay, so you can, if it's not enabled, you can enable inline hints state read and Kotlin, and that will tell you that.
Ooh, look at that!
That state read occurred here. Wait, what happened to my font? Is it? Yeah.
You zoomed out a lot.
So that's why I'm reading it here. Okay, I could maybe.
Okay.
But
How do they do it? Is it?
It's black magic. It's black magic.
It's magic. I can show you the code if you want.
No, it will give me nightmares, but I really like it.
I think it's not 100%. It might have some, what is it? False negatives that, something might be missed, but it shouldn't have false positive, especially like in the deferred lambdas or something like that. But okay, so this is the main screen. But then, okay, this is what I was saying. So it ends here as a composable, but here another part is, lazy grid. Okay, lazy grid is recomposed. That makes sense because I'm changing the items. And in the lazy grid, this is another subcomposition. So these two are actually connected. Here is, podcast category tabs, sure. Category podcast row, sure. I mean, podcast category tabs, that's like I'll build this. That's the top row. So that makes sense that it recomposes. But now we're getting into like category podcast row. Okay, that still could be okay. I don't know it from the beginning. But here, for example, episode list item. So this is the episode list item here in. I'm sure maybe I can zoom in a bit. So these are the episode list items, and these are recomposing. But when I, change something here, like nothing visually changes here. So that's the problem. So, and what I'm doing it here, I can see like how many times it does it. So I can measure, I can see the time that I'm just wasting, half a millisecond on, 2 items here. I'm wasting here a bunch of other composables. Filter chip, like the filter chip does this, right?
Why does that recompose?
Yeah, exactly. And the reason I'm doing it this way is that now I can see that, okay, I could, from the Microbench, but I also see that, I'm recomposing 16 milliseconds that I don't have to probably. So now let's go and figure out why. So
that's a whole frame in old money.
Yeah. And so we're like 47 milliseconds for 1 click of a button. So that's what we're saying, that not just pure metrics, how many times it recomposed or if it's recomposing too much, but also how long.
Yeah, because you could use the layout inspector to see, oh, this is actually recomposing now that I didn't expect it to, but it doesn't tell you how much time it's wasting.
Exactly.
Is that like it's a quick recomposition and I don't care, or it's a long recomposition and that's a problem because I'm dropping frames now?
Exactly. I didn't say, and I didn't do one thing which I should have, but baseline profiles, right? Baseline profiles affect things, and I want to say like how. So if I check the JIT thread pool here, I would see that, this code was running in interpreted mode and stuff were compiled, Android test stack was compiled. So it was running in interpreted mode and was only, JIT compiled here, or, some mutable map. And these things slow it down. So baseline profiles are needed, and they basically, you can check that they should remove these compilations, and that means it runs in the pre-compiled mode.
Can you generate the baseline profiles from the same macro benchmarks you're using to profile?
No, but you would need to write like a fun test, like a benchmark rule generate. It's a different rule. So it's from the same library. But it's baseline profile rule. It works slightly differently, and I'm not gonna do that now today.
Yeah, we have episodes with Rahul about that.
Yeah, what I want to do, and what I do usually when I want to kind of like get rid of that noise of that variation, and for that what I do is I just use compilation mode full, which basically fully precompiles the app. And I know I like in general this is not it it's not good for startup, because startup with this will be slower. But basically, by doing it for the runtime improvements, I'm taking out the JIT variants, basically, because everything should be precompiled, and therefore I don't
So
have to.
it asks the AOT to run before the application is actually started.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It will run the app in the speed. It will compile it with the speed compilation mode. So yeah, so I forgot that, but it's because the numbers will be wrong anyway. I kind of let's forget that I forgot about it. Okay, so now let's figure out why, let's say, the episode list item is recomposing. So what I can do is I'll open the layout inspector, and I go here. I'll find some. Can I? I didn't know that I can episode list item. Oh yeah, here. And I see that this recomposed 3 times, and header. So how do I figure out why it's recomposing? So the best way going forward is just debugger. So I could either rebuild it, but I'll attach it to process to save some time. And now I'll try that again. Oh, okay, and it stopped here. Just to be sure, why is it not showing? Okay, so just to be clear, this is This American Life, the narrator. So that's the first item, right? And so here in the debugger, what I can do is check our recomposition state, which will tell us, what arguments are different or same, what is static, or what changed. So in my case, episode and podcast changed. That's a bit weird, but because most likely this didn't change. Unclick unchanged, but I'll start with a lambda. On queue episode change, which is a lambda. That's weird. And at this point, I probably need to talk a bit about strong skipping mode.
It is
which
time.
is it is time. So in this in this project, I'm using Kotlin 2.1, and strong skipping mode has been enabled by default in 2.020. So what I need to talk about is, so strong skipping mode basically generates the skipping logic, the if checks, if this argument is changed from the previous argument for every single composable, regardless if the input argument is unstable or not. So that should help a lot, but it does it by using 2 different if checks, basically. So if if the input argument, like the episode info, if it was stable, which it isn't, but we'll figure it out in a moment, it would use just the object equals basically call. So because it's a data class, that would compare all the arguments. But because this isn't stable, it uses the triple equals, basically the instance check. And why am I saying that, and why does it matter? So this episode info basically comes from Room database, because we're by saving the followed episode, we're saving into Room, and that generates the stream and from Room. And because the way how Room works, it creates new instance every time it produces data. And hence the problem, because it's unstable, it uses the instance equality, but with every single change, new entities are generated. So
the content are the same, but it's a new instance. And so
Exactly.
the compose runtime will be like, oh, it's new.
Yeah, it's new and it's unstable. So the triple equals is false, instance check is false, fault. Sorry, I can't even English. And let's generate.
It's a Christmas
that.
episode. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. it doesn't generate it doesn't skip the logic.
So I have a quick question here. Like in this case, you've looked into it and you know already that the problem is it's not stable. But how would someone figure that?
All right. Okay. I think at this point you could do. How much time do we have? Just
At least half an hour.
Okay, great. What you can do is do compose compiler. So that's from Kotlin 2.0, and then the metrics destination. Oh, the syntax. I think
the machine knows.
Yeah, the machine knows. I didn't check. Project builder resolve. I don't know. This doesn't look correctly.
No, I was just joking.
I have it. I copied it because I knew that I did it.
Because you're supposed to use the layout these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Gradle changing their APIs every 2 to 3 months.
Exactly. So if you don't know, you could basically you can do that. Let me. Oh, whatever. I don't care now, and I'll do just Gradle task maybe instead of just. Where did it go?
You can do control twice.
It's here. What's control twice?
To open run pop-up. Oh, well, or accessibility, depending on your system settings.
Yeah. Okay. I have it on my. Okay. I'll choose just.
It opens this dialog.
Assemble debug. I'll rerun tasks because of configuration. Caches or stuff should run fast enough, I think, and that should generate our metrics. Hopefully. Compose compiler, is that it? Mobile debug classes. Why is it here twice? I think it's okay.
Because one is for benchmark.
Benchmark. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
okay, it doesn't matter. And then what was the episode list item, right? Episode list item. Why am I not seeing this here? I think this is from the past. Let's wait.
Yeah.
I think this is some past things leaking here.
You're still thinking very hard about the mobile module.
Should I hit update now?
I mean, how fast is your internet and your computer?
Sorry. Okay, so now it generated. I have the episode list item, and here I have lovely unstable.
Right.
The rest of the stuff is stable. One thing I haven't mentioned for the strong skipping mode, I'll go to, is that it memoizes lambdas. So basically, as people had in the past, remember lambda because they were unstable and they were causing the recompositions. These are memoized and basically remembered for you now. But still, if you remember, I'm just kind of jumping around. Sorry, I was saying that the lambda was also recomposing, so that's a bit surprised. I'll explain that in a moment. Okay, so I have YIDs unstable because I just ran it for the mobile. These go so the episode info is in the domain module, and domain module doesn't have the runtime compose runtime dependency, so it doesn't know that something could be stable. But also it uses if I run the metrics on the domain layer, I would see the class data on what is unstable from these parameters. But just like a brief look here, I see like these two are problematic because this is Java.time, right? This is the Java SDK, same here. And Java SDK doesn't have dependency of compose runtime, so it can't be stable. So I could simply do this, right?
You can YOLO it.
I could YOLO it, but I'll do it slightly differently, right? Because why not? So the other thing that we have now is stability configuration file. There's even new one again. All right, I'll use the deprecated one because I don't know the syntax from the new one. File.
It's probably just files and then the same file you would pass.
Do you want me to try?
No, not particularly.
Okay.
I mean, that's fair.
A regular file. A
Uh,
regular file?
Possibly.
It's complaining. Whatever. We'll do this.
Whatever. It's probably something layout, something.
something layout. Okay. I have this file defined, and I used root project because I can use one. You can do it per module, but I'll just
we
use
don't
one
give a shit.
We don't give a shit. Yeah. And at this point, I have several options. What I could do. I could either annotate example jetcaster model, and I could do .star, and that all of the
YOLO the whole thing.
I mean, this means, so this config file means that the compiler treats the classes as stable. So if I kind of internally in my team, if we say that in model we have only the entities that are stable, and we use the UI, maybe you should have
that's a great way for the next person that comes on the team to add something that is not stable, and then things don't work anymore.
Oops.
Okay, we could less YOLO it, and I could do just
less
Java
YOLO it.
type.
I like the less YOLO it.
So like in Java, the type. So these things should be immutable, right? Like zone ID, year, offset. This is all immutable. So let's try YOLO it, but just do this
a bit less.
A bit less, and then I'll rerun the mobile task, and we can check the configuration, the metrics now. Where is it? No, not benchmark. Mobile here. Okay, build.
Yeah, probably need to wait a second still.
Yeah, and because now I marked these two classes as stable, the stability basically nests. So these are primitives, so these are stable by design. Enum would be stable by design. Immutable stuff are stable, and these were unstable. So because of that, now this thingy should be stable.
And this is because the compose compiler says if I don't know and I cannot tell if something is stable or not, or immutable or not, I'll assume it's unstable, because sure, you get extra recompositions, but at least you get the recompositions when that shit changes.
Yeah, and it didn't work, obviously, because it's still unstable.
Oh.
Let's do the YOLO thing. I mean, it's so.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, it's a. You can even do double stars, like sub packages. It's a valid thing to do. Like, let's say that you have a domain module that's just JVM, and there's no immutable annotation on JVM because compose runtime is unchained library.
You don't need to add the dependency just for the annotation.
Exactly. So I mean, it's not like it's actually valid, valid process. So now I have this. That's great. Woohoo! Let's build.
As we say in Italy, it's a stable.
Do it though.
All the time.
Okay.
And I can.
You are something, my friend.
There was a advertisement or something. It was like, it's a good show or something. I don't know what was that.
Is that like one of the Adult Swim shows? I think.
I can't remember.
There's the end card with the chef.
Is it like?
Is that Robot Chicken? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it was like, or like Stranger Things or something.
No. It's definitely Adult Swim.
Okay.
So it's a cartoon, but
okay.
Anyway.
Okay, let's build it the first time, because the first time we will obviously recompose it, but then, as maybe you might. So what is your guess? Will it recompose or not?
It shouldn't. But
you did You didn't pay attention. So, yeah.
I definitely didn't.
Well,
I mean, that specific thing shouldn't cause a recomposition, but there might be more.
So yes, there is a bit more. So I fixed the stability of the classes. So now we see that episode and podcast is the same, but this is going back in time. The on cue episode is different, and that's a weird because that's a lambda. And as I was saying, lambdas are memoized, right? What's going on here? Why is lambda different? So okay, what I would do next, so we need to hunt this like down. Why is it recomposing? So what I can do is just find where this thingy is called. I think that's library. I think that's here. Maybe I could step here instead. Let's try it actually. So this is for different. Okay, whatever. I don't care about you now. Let's do. All right. Let's. Okay. Oh, nope. It didn't stop there. Okay, I don't know. Debugger. But yeah, this should be here. But anyway, let's hunt this lambda more. It's here, just past, nothing suspicious. Now it's past, here. These are the home items, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the. Ah, wait, I was library. I was talking about library, but I think that was discover items more, right? I think that's the reason it didn't stop, because I'm in the podcast. No, that's preview. Podcast category. I think that I'm here. That's the reason why it didn't stop. Yeah, exactly. Great. So podcast category. Nothing. This lambda is still just past here. Okay, what's going on here?
What does the debugger say?
The debugger here says, so because of the scope of this, it doesn't have any input parameters here.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it says that the item, well, that's it thinks it's static. That's a bit weird, but okay. And this, which is the scope, is the same. So it's not helpful here. But I could go, so I'm gonna hunt this. So this is the whole home screen, discover items. So that's here. And here's the lazy vertical grid. So that's the root of the whole screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I check the discover items on queue episode, right? So I'm like, what's going on here? Why is it, recomposing? It's just a pure lambda. Okay, actually, yes, I should do this. And will it stop? Okay. And if I check it here, I don't have, that's the thing. I don't have the recomposition debugger here. Like you might be thinking, why is that? Is it buggy? But the thing is, I'm not in a composable because I'm in, lazy grid scope, and lazy grid scope is not a composable. I cannot call, box here, right? And that's why it, first of all, doesn't have the composition state here.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, that's it's a bit weird, and but that's why it's also recreating it every time, because this is just a pure extension function that is called every single time because it's in a scope, and the scope is recreated every time. So this lambda is recreated therefore every time. So this is a bit tricky to figure it out, but what I can just do episode to the right is I'll move it into a composition basically. Again, I need to have the what's it, episode info? No, what does it, what do you want? Player episode, sure. And because I have it now in composition, so this is in composition, now it's being memoized.
Do you need to remember it, or is it?
No, I don't. So I don't need
because
to
of strong skipping, you don't.
Yes, exactly. But because the problem here is because I have, so this is just a pure, this is not pure function, but this is just a normal function that is being called every time because, the scope, when you change items in the scope will change. And so therefore this is just called again and again with a new lambda. and that's why it's actually different. Should we do something about it? Maybe. Can we? I don't know.
Someone else's problem.
No. I mean, no, like I think that would be like valuable, but I'm not sure. Like these problems are magic hard problems. So okay, now I muted my breakpoint, and so I guess Paul, will it recompose now or not?
I answered already, so even
not. I go for not.
Wait, okay, this was not there. Yep, it didn't. So when I have, so that it triggers now it triggered the breakpoint because I'm composing here a new item, which is in, some decall basically. So it did, but when I, change that, it doesn't. And I could see it also here if I episode list item. I see now here, no, I don't yet, that it's, skipped. So this is so these are the number of times that something skips.
Yeah, because it's composed saying, okay, that's fine, nothing has changed, I can just reuse it.
Yep, exactly.
So that's a good column to be in unless you want something to change. In which case, you're probably just like telling the compiler that something is stable or immutable when it isn't. Or something should be inside of a state so that the compiler the runtime knows that it changes.
Exactly. Okay, I mean, like that's one thing. What we could do is we could follow the same pattern basically to try, maybe like the other thing is that why these, podcasts are recomposing. What is it? Podcast image? Is this that thing? Episode list? I don't know. And there'll be a slightly different problem there, which followed podcast item. That's the header category podcasts. Yes. Okay. Here. So we have basically same problem, right? When I click on this item, so this American Life should recompose because the state changed.
But the others shouldn't.
The others shouldn't, right? This one shouldn't. Yet it does. So I'll just do the same pattern here. I'll just stop the breakpoint at the breakpoint here, click on this thingy. Maybe that wasn't the best idea because that's this American Life. But okay, and I'll go.
The next one should also.
No stupid questions. Yeah. Okay, and I can change. Same podcast title, different modifier, and on toggle follow clicked. Okay. All right, let's, now it's going to be a bit faster. So on toggle follow clicked, let's start with this one. So this is can I just hide it? Maybe this is the same problem basically, because we have, this is just, lazy scope. And so I can, wait, will I be able to do that here?
But you are inside of a composable here.
Okay. Wait. You know what? I think that changed because the podcast itself is changed. I think. Hopefully.
Because it's reusing them.
Yeah. Let's try the modifier. First maybe that'll just solve the problem here. Why is the modifier different, right? Because we're using width and clickable, and that might be like what's going on. Why is it different? But the problem is that clickable is using modifier.composed, and modifier composed basically can you can write composables in a modifier, but there's this nuance that the state of the modifier, because the modifier can be reused, has to be instantiated on every call site, and it's also so because of that it's actually restarting every time. But folks compose engine or framework, they actually were migrating out of composed modifiers. You might have heard the modifier node migration, And Clickable actually has a variation of that, which I can just use. I don't need the interaction source, and I can just use Ripple as indication. And this looks very random, right? But if I check that, this one actually doesn't use the modifier the composed. The reason why we have the default one as is backwards compatibility problems, something, binary compatibility, something, stuff like that. Which is why we can't, make it. We can't change it by default.
Sounds like a lint check would be good here.
Maybe
it's like you're using the wrong one.
Yeah. So if I
Tor.
check
Wow.
What?
Hey, I just called Tor when you need a lint check.
Tor.
Summon.
And
I think
maybe
if you say lint 3 times in a row, Tor shows up.
Wow.
Summoned. Let me try this. Okay, this is the first one, right? This should recompose. The second one shouldn't. But here's the on toggle follow click. On toggle follow clicked. The
modifier is fine now.
Now, yeah, the modifier is fine.
Yay.
Can I just do the same way? But I can't. I don't have the podcast here. I don't know what
because it's passed in there.
Yeah.
Right.
How about? No, but that's I would need to pass it here. Then I'm just breaking. I chose the wrong thing that I don't know how to solve. I mean, I could
pick something else. Pick something else.
I could do this, right? I'll be just, and then on podcast followed clicked would be just on toggle follow. Wait, that'll be just this. I could try that, and now I'm sure I won't break anything.
It's fine.
I don't know what happened. It's the debugger.
Yes.
Podcast dot. Is it going to be the same thing?
Possibly. It might be just title, image URL, and shit.
Oh yeah, maybe. I could image URL. Is subscribed. Okay.
Domain modeling is hard.
It's here. It's nullable. Okay. Sure. Where am I? How many times it happens that something doesn't work as you wish? And what's wrong here? I need to have the podcast info. Are you happy now? Yeah, he's happy. Something's wrong here. Toggle icon button. Okay. Podcast. How about now? Okay.
Let's see.
I don't even know if I fix it or not.
Or if you made it worse, and now it takes 30 recompositions.
Surprise!
Okay. Let's do this then. Episode list item. Wait, I don't want episode list item, right? That was the previous thingy. Wait, I didn't. I missed the button. The emulator or not emulator, but this is, okay. Hoop. Why am I clicking the first one where I wanted to? No, it didn't help. Man. Yeah. What's going on? Toggle podcast float. Why is it? Wait.
What have we done?
I think I just like this. I think it's doable. It's because it's even here. So that's the same problem as we had before now.
Aha.
Which is if I
it's
just
passed
go,
in.
Yeah, so you see here's just a podcast category on Toggle podcast. So discover items that say problem on Toggle podcast follow. So this is
Aha.
so I can just maybe go. I'll just take that one out on Toggle podcast followed whatever. I'll put it here.
Make it be friends.
Yeah. What do you want? Podcast info. Build format.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I wouldn't keep it like this. Oh yeah, I could actually check. Okay, it doesn't matter. And now, so bam. Okay, lazy road changes because of. But actually, wait. Actually, that's fine. That's all right. That's okay. The items, because the lazy row recomposes anyway, because the items are that. But I don't have a breakpoint.
We do swear on this podcast. Feel free to.
Yeah, I like the SMR version of the
Aggressive ASMR.
yeah, aggressive. Oh,
yeah. This should have fixed it. It didn't. Now it's even it's the modifier is different again. Wait, is it some like weird build cache thingy or something? Because the modifier should be the same now. Because it's not different podcast modifier on toggle clicked. I don't trust you now. Anyway, how do I? Okay, hello. I don't know. Is it a live edit change?
I don't know. It looks weird.
Hello. Is there hello? Wait. Okay. Yeah, there's hello. Okay. The code definitely changed. But it's still doing it. But no. Wait.
The column scope is different.
Column scope is different.
But that's, I guess, normal.
There's one thing I didn't show, and I wanted to show that actually in the composition debugger. When when I have the breakpoint, I'm currently breaked here. But you can go here in the stack frames. I don't know. So I don't know what it's called, but I could go here to the call side to the top podcast item row item, and I should see here the recomposition state for this scope. So this I still see different podcast modifier and on toggle follow clicked. I don't know. I messed up. Something's wrong.
It's fine.
That's fine. What I wanted to do is, but we have 10 minutes, right, or less?
Yeah,
or
10 minutes. It's fine.
Is so basically maybe at this point, let's say I would be like, okay, I fixed a bunch of stuff. Benchmark. I don't know which one is it. Click, and I could rerun. I should ideally rerun the benchmarks. Numbers should ideally be better, but as I was saying, one iteration.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But what I wanted to go through is to go to the photo and see hopefully that there should be less traces there with the stuff that we basically removed. And maybe what would be the next step that I would go over, next time, or if I would be going further, I would probably continue, removing the recompositions that aren't necessary, because I know in this case that the frame janked, but also maybe to find something, that doesn't have to be there, that's blocking the main thread regardless of recomposition. Will this take forever? Probably.
Possibly,
right?
Yes.
Yes. Any questions in the meantime?
There was a sort of a question, which is if you prefer Kotlin X immutable lists or annotate stuff with stable. Because Mark was also mentioning that using lists can be problematic.
Yes, this can be problematic, and in the alternative universe where the time flies twice as slow, I actually wanted to show why it might not be a good idea to have stable list, but probably that will need to be the next time, I guess. Because the problem with lists is that if you make them stable, then the equals call on the list, like you're comparing the input parameters. So if you have an input parameter of a list, then that list will call equal on with the previous list. And let's say you have a list of thousands of elements, then basically you're calling equal on these thousands of elements.
Yeah.
Even though that you have a lazy list and you're showing 5 elements on screen, for example. While as if the list is unstable and it's a different instance, let's say, you're recomposing that composable with the list, but then the equals is actually called on the element from like the element perspective or on the element level. So basically it would be the 5 visible elements would call equal, but it's just the 5 of them, not the thousands of them. And we could write our custom list, have a trace there, and show it in Perfetto, but probably next time. So yeah, that's why stabilizing list might not be needed anymore. I mean, it would be needed if you had a composable with a list composable, and that parent composable would do 1,000 other things, which would recompose as well. Then
could you instead use a snapshot state list?
You could, but then you need to it depends if it's going to be the same instance. If it's the same instance, then sure. But wait, it wouldn't.
Like if you have a
it wouldn't help you, right? Because snapshot state list is basically a list as well.
Yeah, but it should keep track of things that change inside, right? It should, as far as I remember. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's stable. So it's stable. That means it would call equals on this. And I don't know. I guess this is just a list as well, right? A mutable list. Is there equals? There isn't equals. So maybe it doesn't have equals on purpose. I don't know. That it doesn't define checking all of the items because it goes with the fact that when you change it, the compose knows that you change the items. I don't know in this case. Yeah. Okay, let's just try where my benchmark generate. No, where's the trace? Open in the right tab. No, it doesn't. It doesn't want to.
You wish.
Build. Yeah, here outputs. Yeah. Okay. Let me do it in a new thread. Oh no, I know. Everything Perfetto def. Maybe we could compare it side by side a bit. Did it load? No, it didn't. Up. So where am I? Yeah, I was talking about JIT thread. Something went wrong, obviously.
Well,
why not?
No shit.
Whoops.
No shit.
Whoops.
Does it gonna load? Nope. I don't know. A bug. File a bug. Googlers only. Sure. I'll do it later.
Are you a Googler only?
I'm a Googler only. What I wanted to in the meantime, what I wanted to show is where am I? it's running the benchmark now again, but I wanted to show, I am on render thread, that's why I don't see anything. What I wanted to show is, so assuming that wouldn't fail, is, we should get rid of some of these, because these are, these won't recompose anymore. I have the benchmark now. Let's do it fast. Don't fail. Yes, it listened to me. No!
Don't resize anything.
I think that's I blamed
you can also close the dialogue and pretend nothing happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that, but I think it failed. It failed successfully, because I see this broken. Why are you doing this to me? I don't know. Okay, anyway. So let's pretend. So these top podcast row item, I think not, but we were just episode list item. These would be should be removed. So these are these. Okay, episode list item. You can just slices with the same name. So I see one. So there's how many? 18 of them. So I clicked twice, and it recomposed 18 times. So these should be removed from the trace, which is if I would.
So you should go to 2 if you click twice.
Yeah, based on how many visible items is on the screen. So I think there was 2, maybe. So 4. Wait, no, 2. You're right.
Yeah, because you click on one item and only that item should recompose.
Yeah. But what I wanted to also show, regardless of the recompositions, is to look for something that stands out that wouldn't need to be here. So we have these are the items, but when I was talking in the beginning that the main screen is recomposing because the main screen reads the state from view model. But here is something very suspicious, current window adaptive info takes 6 milliseconds. And if I check that, it actually does that every time. The other times is not that bad, but it's actually with every, where is it? Where am I? Here. So with every change of the main screen, with every state read, this actually recomposes. And so
that is not good.
And that is not good. And what I wanted to just finish, what you may look for sometimes in your code base is binder transactions, which is basically your app process talking to a system process, to a different process. And these usually, if it's done on a main thread, these block the main thread. So in this case, this is the current window size. So this is probably some you can see this is some system server. And basically what I wanted to show is, because for a long time we would just see binder reply, and that would be it. We wouldn't see anything. But on Android 15 with the latest Microbenchmark, you can actually see here what's going on, what is the answer. So we see here that there was get window insets, and window insets talking to system server for the system bars or something. So you might get an idea from where it was called in your code base, and you might try to do something about it. In this case, because it's this is material 3, that this is probably, I would need to file a bug if they can do something about it. But maybe binder transaction can be, for example, even a broadcast receiver. So you can register a broadcast receiver, and that needs only application context. Because it needs only application context, you don't have to do it in the main thread. You can actually offload it with a coroutine or something. So that's what I wanted to show here. What I would do in this case, so if I would check, so this is part of the home screen ready, which is here. And so because this is recomposing, with the UI state, I could hoist it basically, either, with parameters. window info, blah, blah. Like, I could host it up to basically, because window info, that could be hosted even, up to main activity level.
Mhm.
And therefore it's called only once, and then only when, actually something changes with the window. So yeah, that's what I wanted to, that would be like next step that I wanted to do if everything worked.
I see. Cool.
All right.
We are at time, and so I think we should wrap it up. Tomáš, thank you very much. I think I know a bunch more things than I did before we started. So well done.
I can say the same, but at the same time, I can always say that there's so much stuff that, because every time we hit Perfetto and this kind of streams, with Rahul in the past, these are the episodes that I like to consider. We just scratched the surface. Like there's so much stuff. And Tomáš, I want to thank you, and I want to ask you to come back, because people really like this kind of stuff, right? It's probably the most challenging part of what we do. If you are not into architecture kind of design side of the app, at some point you will probably be closer to UI stuff, animation stuff. So, losing a frame, missing, junking, and that the scroll doesn't, it's not smooth. This kind of stuff, they add up.
Yep.
And then you need to address them at some point. So having the right tools, the mindset of saying, oh yeah, I mean, I'm at the stage where Perfetto is just very colorful. That's the thing. The extent of my experience.
It looks pretty.
Yeah, the extent of my experience with Perfetto is like, it's very, very colorful. Like it's joyful, but there is so much stuff to learn about this. And even as you said, oh yeah, 100 recompositions. Maybe they're not a problem. Maybe you have like one slow composition that is killing you, because it takes 100 milliseconds to press a button, and that doesn't work, right? So that's not good. So
actually, one more thing, that's one more thing always. Actually, there's a good example that I encountered today, which is this little button, right, that I was clicking today. I think it's called the toggle follow podcast icon button.
Mm-hmm.
Toggle follow podcast icon button. And so actually when I click it, see what happens. Font size. Nothing happened. Wait, it's not the right one, or is it? It was recomposing like 20 times or 30 times.
Ooh.
That's what I wanted to.
Okay. It was triggering something, for sure.
Where is it? I wanna. No. Nothing likes me anymore. Oh yeah, here. Okay, here. You see? So if I clicked it, I see like this.
Oh, look at that!
Icon, it goes like through the roof, right? And
why?
The reason is that we're animating it here. Like this is the button, and here is animated color, animated shadow, animated background. Sure, all of these we could fix that. We could improve it, and to skip with the deferred lambdas and with drawing instead of recomposing. But like this is a tiny composition which probably doesn't matter in this case.
Yeah, it's I mean it's not an easy task even to prioritize what to fix. I think this is one of those you need a lot of experience with the stuff, so you really need to start looking into things and get a sort of a passion for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I acknowledge this might not be like the easiest thing to do. We try to make it simpler. We try to, like strong skipping mode should make things simpler. Sure, there are still some rules, but we try, we're trying to tell you, like, don't add the complexity just because, like in this case, just because it recomposes. Like, this is fine. Sure, it could be optimized, but like, does it jank the frame? Probably not. And that's the thing.
It's the usual return of investment, right?
Yeah.
So does it make sense to spend time fixing this thing when you can, deliver value for the customers? If I want to be a bit more product.
That hurts.
Yes.
That hurts.
Yeah,
Don't say that
hurts.
in my presence.
From an engineering point of view, that hurts, but you also need to pay the bills.
Yes.
So
that's a contractor mindset there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I want to thank you, people in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for being with us. Please like and subscribe in the chat. Thank you for the questions. If you are watching this and you like the episode and the idea behind the episodes, and you want us to keep running these interviews and these live coding exercises, please consider subscribing, consider supporting us. You can do it for free. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can connect your Twitch account to your Amazon account. You will see a toggle on your Twitch page that says subscribe for free. We get to print things like, the pin and the keychain and phantasmagoric. Is it even a term? Fantastic.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, I can make up terms. If you want a hoodie, and if you are still in the market for gifts and presents for Christmas, check out our merch store. You can find some nerd stuff, and your friends will thank you. Again, Tomáš, thank you. Thank you. Merry Christmas. And if you celebrate Christmas, thank you. And then Merry Christmas. And if you don't, enjoy your holidays.
If you don't, just have some pasta instead.
Yeah, or some pizza. Why not?
Have carbs.
Have carbs. Sebastiano, thank you. Thank you for another episode. Thank you for another year of messing around every week. We don't stream next week. We don't stream until January,
next
right?
week is Christmas, so definitely not.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not that you wouldn't think that it's the same for everybody. For instance, Pirate Software, he streams over Christmas. He streams on holidays because in his way of seeing the world, people that are alone and cannot celebrate with family, he keeps them company in a way. So, we don't stream. We have other duty from a celebratory point of view. But I hope that you have people around during the holidays. When are we coming back, Sebastiano?
In almost exactly a month, on the 15th of January, we will be back with... we don't know yet.
Okay. Well, I mean...
We'll find out as we go.
Yeah, because we plan hard.
I mean, usually we do, but it's been more challenging than usual to find topics and guests recently because I don't have the time. Well,
but it's also almost 3 years that we do this.
Yeah,
we are running out of engineers. I think we are running out of DevRel and engineers.
I mean, there are many around, but yeah, not all of them are willing to come on stream.
Fair enough. Well,
have you asked? That's the question.
I asked like a minority of every engineer out there.
Sebastian,
I still have work cut out for me. I know. I need to ask every single person.
No. But you need to work smarter and not harder.
I'll have AI ask them.
The next Google HoloLens meeting, you jump on the call and say, if you want to be with us, and then you
just
you
interrupt
run.
Sundar. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Either that or you jump on stage on Google I/O. I think it's safer if you do it. I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna probably shut you down if you jump on stage in Google I/O.
Yeah, I wouldn't do crazy shit in the US just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Anyway, so it's safer for you if you do it on Google
Sure.
Meet. Not from a career point of view, but from a physical point of view, it could be safer.
Yeah.
So
just do it in Europe, like IO Connect or something.
Okay. So jokes aside, thank you everybody, and see you next year.
Thank you.
Have a great one, everyone. Bye. Enjoy yourselves.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.